The Cleveland Browns, they're getting on a plane. They're heading to West Virginia, the Greenbrier, and it's an important day for us here on Big Play as we are live at the 44th Annual National Sports Collectors Convention out here at the IX Center. Got plenty to talk about with that. Guards! All right, you got it done again. Let's get the 3 out of 4 ass for the Tigers today. We got Guardians to talk about, plenty of Browns to get into, and you know we got to talk some sports cards today. We would not be at the National Sports Collectors Convention if we didn't talk about some cards. We'll get to all that coming up. Little delayed start this morning. We appreciate everybody jumping on with us right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Happy to have you alongside. And again, different setup for us today, Ryan. As you can see, we are here at the IX Center, the 44th Annual National Sports Collectors Convention. Bro, I'm not even going to lie. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
So, like, we pulled in this morning. We're at the IX Center if you're a Clevelander. 237 was backed up. I saw Florida, Virginia, Washington, Pennsylvania, Maine. I saw license plates from everywhere. And then I realized this is national. Like, they only do, but no, tell me this. They only do one of these. And it goes around. It's here in our backyard in Cleveland. So I'm telling you, number one, you want to come out with the kids and the family, come on down. You can get day tickets to come on in. Bro, there has got to be millions of dollars, potentially tens of millions of dollars worth of merchandise here. Like, they have a showing of the Honus Wagner card, the one that everybody talks about. There is, I think I saw 2 are here in the building. There's plenty of things you could buy, and you're like, oh, it's just cards. Dude, they have racing helmets over there. I see soccer jerseys. Like, there is every sport represented here today. Then I walked down Autograph Row, and I saw Trevor Hoffman is here today. Like, the list of athletes that we went through is insane.
I mean, we talked about it, Matt. Not only do you got the guys you mentioned, Trevor Hoffman, but they're bringing in here guys with the likes name of Floyd Mayweather. You got the amount of Bo Jackson signs that are here is just nuts.
And I walked in, and I saw so much Bo Jackson memorabilia. You could come buy it, walk over, get it signed. I mean, it's awesome. And really, Ryan yells at me about being the dad. I look for activities with the kids. Like, you don't have to buy anything. You can come in here, just pay your ticket, and I would highly recommend bringing the stroller, by the way. You got to bring the stroller. There's some walking involved in this. But you can just walk around and just see all this stuff here today, which has just been awesome. So we'll be here today. We are going to talk to some people as well from the card show, just about some of the things. Got the quick info I got right. There's over 600 exhibitors here. Over 600 exhibitors here. And again, you don't have to buy a thing. You want to come in. You know, the other cool thing, too, they got it right over there. They got cards that start at $10. So, you know, you want to come with your kids and just get them a card. Sure. Then, dude, I walk past some stuff. We're talking 6-figure stuff.
Oh, yeah.
6-figure stuff over there. Oh, yeah. And it's not even that you're buying it, but just to see it. You know, and then again, they have showings of I always screw it up. I think it's the T109 or something like that, the really famous Honus Wagner card. They've got it here, and they're going to do showings of it. So if you want to see it, you got to stop out. Today's showing, I want to say, is 11 to 1. Okay. I got to check on that. I think they have a showing almost every day. But check it out. You can go to the website and get your tickets as well there, nsccshow.com, nsccshow.com. So we'll be here all day. We're going to talk to Kyle coming up from the convention, just get a little more insight of what's going on here. They do want me to make an announcement, and I don't know if people actually, if you're watching this, if you're coming down, but just to help out, there's 2 lanes to get in here. There are 2 lanes off of 237. I came in, Ryan. I stayed in the left lane, and I just zoomed past everybody. Because I feel bad. It is a national thing. I think there's so many people from out of state that they just got in the line that they thought they needed to get into to get here. Dude, it was backed up. So stay in the left lane and get it.
So how many times have you been to the IX Center, Matt? This is my first time here. I know. Call me crazy. This is my first time at the IX Center.
You've lived here your whole life. What do you mean you've never been to the IX Center?
I don't believe I've ever been here, Matt.
No, the car show?
Nope.
You just never came to the indoor amusement. Did you see the ads growing up as a kid? The IX Indoor Amusement Park? Come on.
I take that back. I believe I went to one time the indoor amusement park.
The Ferris.
But I was super young.
What?
No memory of that.
Oh my God.
No memory. But it's a beautiful venue, and like you said,
it's a very special place.
The amount of people here, the amount of exhibits here, everybody's friendly. It is just a beautiful place. Like you said, come take your kid. You don't even got to spend money and buy anything.
Just get the ticket. Come on in.
Just looking at it is so much fun.
I will go buy you that that Honus Wagner card. If you could tell me what this facility was actually built for. If you could tell me, and Clevelanders, do not help him out. Do not send him a message right now.
Well, it's pretty damn big.
This is a Cleveland factoid that I think you're required. Padone, do you know why they built the IX Center? Oh, my God.
Okay, well, let me think about that. I mean, okay, was it originally this big, or did they expand?
Yes. No, it's always been. I mean, I'm sure there's been some expansion, but this was a massively huge building when they built it.
Was it a factory of sorts?
Yes.
Was it okay?
Yes.
I'm there. That's step one.
Okay, that's step one.
Was it a factory of? Well, I got to go something around Cleveland. I know they got the Akron.
You're
the
thinking
duct tape.
the wrong thing.
Wrong thing.
Wrong thing. You're barking up the wrong tree.
Really? Okay.
If I gave you the era, I think it'd be a huge hint to help you.
Was it a car factory?
No. No.
If you gave me the era, what's the era?
If I gave you the era, I think it would then lean towards what was going on in our country and our world.
Wow.
I gave him a big hint there.
You did. So I'm assuming it was some type of political center?
Not necessarily, no.
A government center?
No. There's a lot of politics involved in this, but no. There was something going on in the world, Ryan, that had a lot to do with politics and other things.
Right, like a war, I'm assuming you're getting at.
Correct.
So was it like a army base?
No, you're close.
Was it a like ammo's army manufacturer?
It was an army manufacturer. What did they manufacture here?
Was this World War I or II?
Two.
So they already had tanks.
I think two, if not one, but definitely two. I think it was two.
Tanks?
Tanks is correct.
You don't have to buy me the
that card. I'm not buying you that card.
You led me there. Maybe buy me
like
this
was a tank factory.
A Tanner Bibee card?
If you can find me one, sure.
There we go.
Find me one. Anybody got a Tanner Bibee card out there? Anybody? I owe Ryan one. No? All right, we'll find it. This was a tank factory. This was built to manufacture tanks for the war. And then when it opened up, now it's obviously. And is it not like, I don't know if you've been to many other convention centers like I have. You are like the sheer size is incredible when you really think about it. Because we're actually like in what I kind of call the annex. Like we're off to the side. Then the main floor is out there. This was a tank factory for World War II. So that's why it started.
You could fit many tanks in here.
They built a lot of them here. So that's why we're here. So again, over 600 exhibitors. We're going to be here all day. Blake and Greg Williams are coming up right after us. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I want to get the conversation. We'll take it in the Twitter inbox and on the YouTube comments. Give us your best card. Like either when you were a kid, I think most people that enjoyed sports, you collected cards at some point. What was your favorite card, your best card? I got some tweets this morning, Griffin Jr. I still have it because I still have all my cards. And it's like the same thing. That was the fun. I have no idea if this card is actually worth anything.
So that's
but it's my favorite card.
I mean, when I say thousands, Matt, I mean thousands of baseball, NFL that I got passed down from my grandfather.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I don't know how to evaluate them at all.
So that's the cool thing about today. They do on-site authenticating. Okay. Now, what's your probably?
Should have brought.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. One card they'll do.
Okay.
That what they call that is a lot. So you have a lot of cards.
Okay.
And I'm not just saying a lot. Like I mean, like a lot of land.
Right.
So you have a lot here of your cards. You can pay to send those off to somebody, and they can either A, authenticate them for you, or B, tell you what they are. What you could do is, if you really wanted to, sit down one night, go on eBay, go on some of these great websites with all that, and just search. All the cards have like a number and a name on them. Search them and see. You might be sitting on something. You never know.
I take it the lower number, the more value.
I have no. I don't know. It's a good question.
Works?
Right. Well, usually you want. I think now, and we'll talk to Kyle about that coming up because he's going to join us from the Card Convention show. I would assume it's a lot of like. You want one-off ones. Like some of the ones that I see now that fetch a lot of money are they have this signature or they have a piece of their jersey on it, stuff like that. So I think it's interesting, and again, today would be a great day to find out. They have on-site authentications over there. So what they do is they take your stuff, they'll look at it, they'll grade it. If you want to put it in, again, the little that I know, it's called a slab. That's when you put it in the hard plastic or the glass, and then you can kind of take it around. So they have all that stuff here today, which is really cool. I had a 1998 holographic Barry Bonds card.
Wow.
And all it was when you tilted it, it was him swinging.
Okay.
It could be worth $1.50. I have no idea. But to me, that was the coolest card. And that was the fun thing about being a kid was you would trade things to get your – I'm not saying Barry Bonds is my favorite player, but like you would trade to get your favorite player. You'd go back and forth and that kind of stuff. So I'd love to hear in the Twitter inbox. You can also hit us up on YouTube as well for your favorite sports card that you had when you were a kid or an adult. Obviously, it's a big business. And I'll tell you this, man, right here today. is big business, too. There's some serious stuff going on. So we'll see you down here. We'll be here up until 11. Then Blake and Greg are going to be here. They're going on all weekend, too. The National Sports Collectors Convention here at the IX Center.
How
Get
about
your
this,
tickets.
Matt? Shout out Mike in the inbox. He says, this show is so large that they're even using the annex where we are right now. He says they don't even use the annex for the annual car show.
That's crazy, isn't it? Thanks. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I walked in, I didn't fully understand. And, again, this is like the national one. It sounds like this is the one you're going to be at. So it's pretty cool. So we're here all weekend. They'll be here all weekend. We're here today, and obviously Blake and Greg are coming up. Browns are on their way down to the Greenbrier, Ryan, and it's so exciting to start this training camp off and get back to some football. And I think it's, you know, as the season has started, or the off-season has come to an end, the training camp season has started, if you will, how different that you view this team. And, you know, with the expectations, what we've dealt with over the last 5 years or so, it just feels so different when I think about this Browns team and the expectations that are there. I don't think this has changed much from the Baker years. You expect them to go to the playoffs this year. I expect them to go to the playoffs this year. And I think there's some angst there, but I don't. It's like this quiet calm. And maybe I'm misreading this. Maybe people are a little bit more on edge about it. You've got these massive questions surrounding Deshaun Watson. You've got Amari Cooper's deal done, but it's kind of drama-free, which is really nice. You didn't have a lot of off-season news. You didn't have a lot of what's going on here. Now, we've had to deal with every freaking article that we read going, gee, I wonder what Deshaun Watson's going to be, or, oh, gee, I wonder what's going to happen with his shoulder. I don't know. You don't know. We're not doctors. Whatever, right? But it's just been, as it's starting now, it's been a boring offseason, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah, you know, I mean, continuity in the NFL, just teams in general, is unusual, and certainly for the Browns. I mean, obviously you're going to have your teams, the dynasty right now, it's the Chiefs. I mean, look at the Bills. They've got so many moving parts. And the Chargers, for instance.
Yeah.
Not only do you have continuity in the regime here with Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, we know they got well-deserved extensions, but up and down the entire roster. I mean, we lost, a couple linebackers. You know, outside of that, we're bringing everybody back. The only real news was the Amari Cooper deal. That got situated. Obviously, Nick Chubb. Not much you could do about that, but all signs are positive. And I don't think it being a quiet offseason is necessarily a bad thing at all for us.
No, it's different, and that's kind of what you shoot for. Now, as we get ready to go for training camp, the question is, what are you going to zoom in on? What are you focused? And I think all of us want the answer to be Deshaun Watson. The question is, can you actually learn anything about Deshaun Watson in this time at the Greenbrier, in this time in Berea when they get back? Because I, for one, am pumping the brakes hardcore on making any declarations about Deshaun Watson. And you want to know why? Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. It proves nothing to me. Because over the last 2 years, and I'm not saying that this didn't happen with Baker or other quarterbacks that we've had here. Ryan, what have I done the past 2 off seasons? I've gotten drunk on Deshaun Watson. I've watched the throws. I've sent the throws out on Twitter about these 60-yard bombs, and I got drunk on Deshaun Watson. I went all in, and I was let down. And I had nothing to stand on. I knew the suspension was coming. That season got fried, and last year was the massive disappointment. I'm over it. And I'm not saying that I'm out on Deshaun Watson, okay? He might still very much be the guy for the Cleveland Browns, and you hope that he is because that's the easiest thing to do. I don't give a damn about training camp and about preseason. And I'm excited that football is back. And I'm going to be excited to watch the team and see the guys back out on the field, just even the clips from the Greenbrier when they get back out here at Berea. I'll be excited for that. Trust me, I will. But Watson is the one. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And it's even the vice versa, right? There will be people that send this out and go, oh, interception, or man, he had a bad throw here, all that kind of stuff. Don't care. Don't care. It comes back to one thing, and that starts when you take on the Dallas Cowboys in week 1. So I'm making this pact, and I wanted to say this for the first day of training camp, and I'm going to need you to hold me to it. I'm going to need you out there to hold me to it. I don't care. Do not give me anything on Deshaun Watson about looking good or looking bad up until we get to go for the Dallas game. The only thing And you know the only thing I'm going to care about is staying healthy. That's it. That's the only conversation that I'm willing to have on Deshaun Watson coming up over the next couple of weeks, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, we can get drunk off of all the grainy footage we want of Watson making these good throws, these dimes, and then it's the other way, right?
Oh, my God, look at that throw. Wow.
He makes a bad throw. Oh, everybody, it's chaos, right? With all the aggregators out there, Matt, on Twitter, I don't need to name them. We all know who I'm talking about, mostly. Everybody in training camp looks good. Daniel Jones is throwing dimes. Sam Darnold's throwing dimes, right? Everybody's throwing dimes here. There's not much you can take from it, and I'm not going to take anything.
No, and that's like, I get the excitement. Like, the part of that is you're excited. A lot of people just look at the revenue, tell you that they love the NFL. So any little bit of content that you can get, any little sort of insight, like whatever, the excitement for that, I get it. I'm not trying to tell people to not be excited. It's just don't start to make your declarations about Deshaun Watson or, anybody. And we have this conversation every year, and we get sucked in. And I think it's interesting that I'm at this point now where I look at it and I say, dude, all of your eggs are in this basket right now. Every little bit about Deshaun Watson has led to what? Right now. This season will tell you what the future is with Deshaun Watson. Ryan, I should be watching every clip, and I should be drunk off of grainy YouTube, Twitter videos of him throwing out routes to David Njoku because it is just paramount. We have come to this point, and in reality, I'm taking a step back, and I'm saying it's going to come. The regular season will come, and we'll figure it out from there. But, like, Watson, the pressure on him, because a lot of people want to bring that up about Deshaun Watson, too, about the pressure on him, like, living up to his contract, or he doesn't want to go down as the worst contract in NFL history, and all that kind of stuff. And I believe it. I also just think he wants to win, because no matter what, we all know the contract that he got. I'm sick of talking about it, is what it is. Ryan, don't you think he wants another one?
I would assume.
And you said, "Oh my God, he can't live on $230 million." Why would he not want to sign another contract when he's not even 30? This deal will be up when he is 31, if I'm not mistaken. Quarterbacks, if all goes well, he's got another 10 years. Telling me he doesn't want another one?
Yes, and that contract, as we mentioned, all comes down to expectations. And I'd be curious to know what the majority of fans, how much that differs, from the expectations of the Browns, because we all know at the very least how last season went. You would say, okay, let's get to the divisional round again, like we did with Baker. And most people would even say, we got to get to at least the AFC Championship game, which I completely agree with.
Well, people are already starting. I mean, because people are already starting to always got to do better than Flacco, or he's got to exceed Joe Flacco. It doesn't matter. Joe Flacco's not here anymore. There is no more, if he doesn't do this, then we're going to go back to Joe Flacco. Like, yes, I want him to exceed Joe Flacco just because I need to go to an AFC championship.
And then how do they gauge, right, in the scenario, right, you don't win the division, you get in with the wild card, which is a very well possibility.
Yeah.
And let's say something happens, you get matched up. Chiefs probably might get the bye, but you get matched up with the Chiefs first round in Arrowhead. I mean, yes, if we go out that way, you never want to see that, but you're facing the two-time in a row Super Bowl champions with the greatest player on the planet.
Well, now you're getting into your barometer. Now you're checking to see, like, how good are we, what can we do when we show up and all that. And the thing is, the Browns team is set. That's the other exciting thing is you look at the rest of this team and you're seeing your all-pros dotted everywhere. You're seeing guys that were developed here, that were drafted, and you have a good football team. And that's, I got to tell you, I think the other thing that's kind of lending towards me pumping the brakes here, the fact that they're in the Greenbrier. Normally, people would be across the street. We're at the IX Center. We'd be over there in Berea. The traffic jam. Can you imagine that traffic jam? Trying to get in here and people getting over to Berea. Normally, you're there. So I do think there is an element of it's hard because they're not here and people aren't going to be up front and seeing it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, and I want them to go to the Greenbrier and I want them to have a great time and the camaraderie in the building. And actually, I was listening. I saw the clip from Greg and Blake on Come Get Some where they talked about training camp and why they needed to go away and things like that. So I'm all for it, but there's a little damper on that too. They're giving away a Cybertruck at this thing.
Is that what that is?
Did you see that?
I see the
So we're here,
Cybertruck
44th
there.
Annual Sports Collectors Convention here at the IX Center. Get your tickets, nsccshow.com. There's a Cybertruck out front. We saw it. Then up on the Whatnot screen, kind of on the Whatnot stage, I believe, They said there's a QR code that you can scan. Apparently, you can win a Cybertruck.
Would you ride around in a Cybertruck?
No, absolutely not. I finally saw one in person.
Oh, I've seen multiple.
I've only seen one. Looked bad.
It did look bad.
Didn't look good. Did not look cool. I don't know. That's it right there. Cybertruck change. So over there, PSA is here as well. So I don't know. When you come on in, you got your opportunity to do that, I guess. There we go. But I don't know why. It just popped up at me. Then they have this massive screen of all of these videos of people that were here, like opening packs and running through cards and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a great weekend. So come on down. National Sports Collectors Convention here at the IX
Matt,
Center.
we talked about the list of people that are going to be here, and I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah.
I want to know your dream autograph here.
Probably Dan Marino. He was my favorite kid growing up. And I got, so like a project in school, I had to write to Dan Marino, and I did, and I got an autographed picture back. I'm assuming it was just like, you know, he signs one and then they photocopy it. So that would probably be it. I don't know. Michael Irvin would be cool. You know, I think Omar, as far as Cleveland goes, like Omar would be a pretty good. Robbie Alomar is here. Jim Thome is here. I don't know. It'd probably have to be Dan Marino for me.
Oh, man, yeah, I'm looking at this list
It's
now.
a crazy
Ooh.
list.
Wow.
Can you pull that list up for the people?
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, pull that up. So, and this is just like, you know, we'll run through the other one here in a minute.
Yeah.
But this is just the baseball list that Ryan's going to scroll through here.
Yeah, this is crazy, Matt.
All right, so there it is. Scroll on down. So you got Goose Gossage, Ricky Arnett, Chipper Jones.
Reggie Jackson, Corey Kluber, of course, Barry Larkin, local guy, David Ortiz, Pedro Martinez,
Crime Dog, Fred
Albert
McGriff.
Pujols, Manny, everybody loves Manny, Cal Ripken,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mariano Rivera, Pete Rose, Sammy Sosa,
Ozzie Smith would be a cool one.
Jim Thome, and Omar, of course. Wow.
Go over to football real quick.
There we go. Earl Campbell, Richard Dent, Hanford, friend, of course. Dan Fouts, Eddie George, Archie Griffin.
Arch Griffin would be pretty cool, too, for me.
Will Howard, okay.
Ask him if he's starting. We got to talk Ohio State. Did you hear the number of their NIL? We'll get to that in a second. Back to the list, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to pull you off on the list there.
Edgerrin James,
Bo
Calvin
Jackson
Johnson,
might be up there, yeah.
Cardell, 12 gauge.
Dan Marino for me.
Billy Manziel, Ray
John
Lewis.
Paul, football.
Your guy Dan Marino.
Yep.
Urban Meyer, Anthony Munoz, AP, Palomalu, Jerry Rice. I mean, the list is just all these people in one building in Cleveland, man.
Isn't it crazy? And again, check the schedules. They're not like they're all here today. Like they have to come through. So check it out. National Sports Collectors Convention here at the IX Center. Doors are open. People are coming in. Cards, memorabilia. It's all over the place today at the IX Center. So we're happy to be here. Speaking of Ohio State.
Yes.
Did you see the number that got reported from Ross? Is it Bork? Bjork? Ross Bjork? Whatever his name. He sees the new AD at Ohio State. So he spoke with Yahoo Sports. And this is part of all this NIL collective bull crap where they have to disclose what they signed, what the school paid, all this other stuff. Did you see? I want to ask. Did you see the number?
I did not see the number.
If you had to guess, this is a good little experiment.
Is this just for Will Howard?
Just for football.
For football.
For football. The collective of the football players, which, by the way, got an expansion now, over 105 scholarships now for football.
Okay.
The NCAA passed a measure yesterday to increase the amount of scholarships for football, baseball, softball. I don't know why they need to do wrestling.
Do you happen to know the amount, like, is what Ohio State ranks in terms of college football teams that in NIL money?
I'll have to look that up.
I mean, it's got to be top 5.
Well, and especially what they did this offseason.
Yeah.
So what do you think the collective is? For the entire Ohio State football team, what do you think they spent on NIL?
I don't even know if this is going to be in the ballpark, Matt. I'm going to guess $50 million.
You're in semi-ballpark.
Higher, lower?
Lower.
$35 million.
$20 million.
Okay.
Which, like, again, do you think that's a lot or not?
It is. It's college, right?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Any money in NIL now is a lot, and I got to imagine that it's going to get, we're going to get these rules, these sanctions as it becomes more popular. But, I mean, I've got to imagine, similar almost to the salary cap in the NFL, it's just going to go up, up, up every year.
So this was 2023. The revenue for for Ohio State last year, they had a record revenue of nearly $280 million. That's revenue. When they pay out Ryan Day and when they pay out John Diebler's brother. What the hell's his name?
Jake
Diebler. They pay out all that. Oh, my God.
Which one are you looking?
The wrestling coach.
Oh, that's your alley, not mine.
Ohio State. Tim, I almost want to say Tim Ryan, but we're in the
Tim Misney?
No. Tom Ryan. That's what I meant. Not Tim Ryan. Tom Ryan. Thank you very much. Jay Jaggers, Logan Stieber there. When they pay them out, this was the revenue, $280 million. Now, for Ohio State football program, they made nearly $65 million last year. They brought in, actually, that amount was just ticket sales, $65 million, nearly $50 million in media rights, and another near $60 million of contributions from donors, boosters, all that other kind of stuff. So does that not seem like pennies than to hand out $20 million to the players through their NIL collective?
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And I guess it's like, listen, I don't like what college football has become. I certainly don't like this crap in high school. I think this is getting insane. But it's hard to look at those numbers and not say, where is my piece of the pie? People are going down there to watch Ohio State try to win national championships. You do that with Quinshon Judkins. You do that with Will Howard. You do that with Caleb Downs and Emeka Ibuka. And that is where that money is going. You don't have a team if you don't have the players. You're not having a national championship unless you have good players. Here we are. They're passing that money out. I thought, no joke, man, I thought $20 million was a little low. I thought it'd been a lot more for the entire team.
My initial guess was $50 million.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're absolutely right. I mean, these guys are coming down to see Will Howard, Caleb Downs, Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson. But you know who's making all more than them combined? Ryan Day.
Yeah.
They're not going down to see Ryan Day, and I get it, but that's the way, it's a very dangerous bridge to cross.
So I got this email from BetOnline for their odds of the first college football coach to be fired in the nation. Do you have any guesses?
Wow, in the nation, not just...
No.
Power 5?
It is a Power 5 school.
Okay.
So this was from BetOnline. Shout out to my guy, Jimmy Shapiro. The first head coach fired, the favorite was 4-1.
That's
4-1.
Wow. Is this a school, like a big school?
Very big school.
No way. I mean, Kalen DeBoer first year on the job.
Ryan
Day won't get fired because the only way is if they're not dropping a game until Michigan if that happens, and then.
Sure. And remember, this is the first coach, not fired in general. It's the first one. Ryan Day is on this list at 12-1. Whew. This is a big legacy SEC program.
Oh, I was going to say Mario Cristobal.
Mario Cristobal's third.
Yeah.
He is third at Miami
SEC.
at 6-1. SEC. Sam Pittman in Arkansas is second at 5-1.
Is it Auburn's coach?
No.
Gus, whatever.
Is Gus Malzahn still there?
I believe. Actually, I think he's at UCF now.
Yeah. I don't even know who Auburn's football coach is.
Yeah, I don't know who Kentucky's coach is. I don't know who.
And that's Stoops.
Is it?
Yeah,
I don't know who Arkansas's coach is.
Hugh Freeze. That's right. They hired Hugh Freeze. Cell phone man himself, Hugh Freeze.
Who did?
Auburn.
Auburn did.
Auburn. He's the head coach at Auburn. Soliciting. There's kids around here. Soliciting on a university-provided cell phone. Hugh Freeze. What a piece of crap.
SEC, Matt. I don't know.
Billy Napier, Florida.
Okay.
Billy Napier at Florida.
Okay.
And I like Florida. And I think Billy Napier's fine. But Billy Napier was 1. Sam Pittman at Arkansas was 2. Mario Cristobal 3. Dave Arenado at Baylor was 4. Vanderbilt, BYU, then Ryan Day is 12-1. Dabo Swinney is on this list at 25-1, as is Lincoln Riley at 25-1. Deion Sanders, 50-1, to be the first coach fired.
But guys with the likes of the Ryan Days, right, the Dabo Swinneys, those aren't going to be, I can't imagine in any scenario, a mid-season fire, right? No way, unless something absolutely blows up. Maybe if Dabo is for some reason they're 4 and
honestly, no joke. Do you know what would get Dabo fired more than anything? He says something.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
him, like Ryan Day, you're right. He will not be fired mid-season. Like that's just not going to happen.
Shot.
Dabo, I could see getting fired. That he says something or does something that he's, he just shoots his mouth off all the time.
He does.
And that's what'll get him in trouble more than anything.
Not an NIL guy, that's for sure.
No. That's what'll get him in trouble kind of more than anything. So running through his list, of course Ryan Day is going to be on the list. It kind of is what it is. To the guards, let's go.
Yes.
Nice one. Hey.
Man.
All good.
A little close for my liking.
Little close. You beat Jack Flaherty, who pitched his ass off. Now, you know who else pitched his ass off yesterday was Tanner freaking Bibee.
Yes, he did.
Go figure. Gave that home run to Verling or whatever in the first inning. By the way, why are all of our starters just getting smoked in the first inning? Like, the reverse nerfy to bet on a run being scored in the first inning is hot with the guards right now.
Yeah,
hot.
man. Home runs, too. I remember the Reds game that we had the bets on with them.
Yeah.
First inning. Almost had 2 shots off Bibee.
So then the strain. Now, he came out after and he said, it was just my quad, my hamstring. That is scary. And I guess the good news is that he felt it in the warm-ups and decided not to go. It'd be different if he was out there pitching and actually, pulled something.
Right.
I'm assuming he didn't pull or strain anything, thank goodness. But he left with the tightness. Hopefully they caught it early. It's not a big deal because Ryan, oh, my God, that we cannot handle that right now. There is no world that we can handle that. Now, the pressure that's going to be put back on the trade deadline, which is coming up, we've discussed a lot over the last couple of weeks about what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. Yeah, Matthew Boyd will be here. Dude, my heart dropped for a second when I was like, that is – I don't mean to – I don't want to make this a question, but I think we could overcome a Jose Ramirez injury better than we could overcome a Tanner Bibee injury right now.
Yes, you can.
You know what I mean? Like, Jose, at least I've got some others. You lose Tanner Bibee, bro, we're in a lot of trouble.
And you talk about that type of injury to Tanner Bibee. I mean, that might be playoff push just ending, right? Obviously, there's still the possibility they would overcome that. But, I mean, we're at the point right now with our starting rotation. This is me saying this, assuming we haven't made any moves yet, which I don't believe we have. I don't have internet on my phone right now. But, we can ill afford an injury, no offense, but to a guy like Cookie Carrasco, to a guy like Ben Lively right now, who aren't considered, probably top half of pitchers in the league right now.
Yeah.
Maybe Ben Lively this season, but we can ill afford an injury to even those bat guys. That's how pressed we are for starters, right? And I hope this trade deadline, you got to get one, hopefully 2, and it doesn't have to be the Garrett Crochet, right? It's the Jack Flaherty who we just saw pitched his ass off, right? I mean, we just need something to solidify even that back end, Matt, or it's going to be real tough to win a 3-game, hopefully a 5-7-game playoff series here when we get late in the season. Yeah,
the other thing, too, is now there's a report this morning, Ken Rosedale, the O's want Jack Flaherty back. Yeah. So and what did we talk about yesterday? It's not even so much that I want the Guardians to make a move. It's I know the rest of these teams are going to make moves. I know the Orioles are going to make moves. Even the Twins, you got to almost keep pace with the fact that you're almost at a deficiency. I need the Guardians, and it goes back to Jeff Passan's article, right, where he goes, I want the Guardians to start acting like a team that's 20 games over 500, because they are. Back number 1 in the AL. But I almost want them to act like they're in the deficiency. I want them to sit there and go, you know what? We're not as good as we think we are. And our starting pitching, which has been good, it's almost like you've been handed a bonus. Yeah. Take advantage of that, because nobody saw this coming with your starting pitcher. Ryan, I kind of want them on the other side of that, where they're going to sit there and say, you know what? We actually do need to go make a move because we're in a deficiency, because we ain't that good.
Exactly, Matt. It's 2 schools of thought, but it doesn't matter because they're all predicated on the fact that you are 5 games in the lead right now this far through the season. You are one of, 2-3 teams in the AL to reach 60 wins thus far. You could look at it and say, yeah, we're 60-plus wins right now, but you can clearly see our starting pitching is pedestrian at best. Our hitting is lacking. We've been in kind of a lull ever since a couple weeks before the All-Star break. Maybe we're not ready to push. And I hope to God that's not the case, because what it should be is we're 60-plus games. We're 61 games win already, plus 5 in the AL Central.
Yeah.
while we've had all these problems. Let's go patch a couple holes and make a true push to this thing in October.
And I mean, that's the thing. You are also dealing in the thing that everybody else needs. You know, everybody else is going to be in on the names that we've discussed, and the price is going to go up. The thing that I'm going to continue to hold on to, and this comes off of Zach Meisel's writing on The Athletic, you know, even when Ken Rosenthal is there, the Guardians have the pieces to make a move. And I don't want people to forget that this is still a choice. This is not well, we don't have anything. No. And it comes back to what I've been saying for weeks. Go make a trade even if you don't win the trade. Even if that's something that 3 years down the road, people will be sitting there kicking and upset. Oh my God, you gave away this prospect, and look at him. No, don't care. Because you see what it became. And you go back to the Andrew Miller trade. Now, that one is easy. Why? Because Justice Sheffield and Clint Frazier didn't amount to anything. But I'm going to try to help you on this one, okay? Imagine that in that trade, you gave up Francisco Lindor of what he is today. Let's say that he was still somehow here for the World Series, but I'm trying to equate to the best player that has left the Guardians in the past couple years. Because that's the other thing, right? Name me the best player other than Francisco Lindor that has left the Guardians that's done anything. I'll stay here all day.
You know who I'm going to say, Matt?
Will Benson.
I was going to go all the way back. Maybe Jim Thome.
Maybe, right? Like Will Benson, Nolan Jones, Yandy Diaz might actually be your answer,
sure.
Right? Like Yandy Diaz. So, like, imagine that you gave up Francisco Lindor and Yandy Diaz for Andrew Miller. Would you sit here today and regret that trade?
Not one
Because
bit.
you saw what Andrew Miller did and you got to a World Series because of him. There's no part. And that's why both teams can feel good about it. In this move, let's say the Guardians go out and get a starting pitcher and they give up a little bit more than they should. And you give it to, I don't know, whatever team you want to get your starting pitcher. That starting pitcher comes in here and helps me get to a World Series. Then those prospects go off and become all-stars. Good, great, everybody wins. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to bitch. And the other thing is they have so many other ones to pick up. Like, you've got a bright future with all the prospects that you have. I'll give up 2 or 3 for somebody right now.
And if you're, as an organization, not only we all know this in Cleveland, but around the league, all the experts, what do? They give praise to Cleveland for the way they're able to develop these prospects.
Absolutely.
Right? So use that to your advantage. Develop them to what they should be so they trade, and you don't have to keep all of them, right? Like, you're not going to, the odds of you giving up a Mike Trout or a Bryce Harper, like, it's so low. And I'm willing to take that risk to get my team a little bit better chance to get to that promised land when I see the talent that they have right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend to be this expert in the prospects, right? I mean, we all know the main ones. But, Matt, is it wrong to say I think right now the only truly untouchable one may be Bazana?
Yeah, I mean,
I know you're a Cantillo guy and all.
I like Joey Cantillo. I would listen to that. Like, I would say Angel Martinez and John Kenzie Noel just because they're now part of the team. Like, you want to see the development there. But, like, Juan Brito, who they've been putting in right field a lot recently. But, like, the Lauder's coming off of injury. I would. If you had to pin me down and ask me if that's a true statement or not, that Travis Bazana is the only untouchable Guardians prospect, and I had to pick yes or no, the answer is yes.
I agree.
The answer is 100% yes.
You don't get this opportunity that the Guardians have now.
How do you know you're going to be there next year? How do you know that you're going to be back there next year?
And I think you'll agree with this statement, right? The NFL, once you're heading into the playoffs, right, you have your teams that you know are the only true shots. Like, when's the last time we saw a team really come out of the woodwork? Maybe Nick Foles with the Eagles just because Carson Wentz went down.
Maybe.
You go to the NBA, the same thing. I understand Dallas was a 5 seed. They went to the finals. They lost. And even then, that's not the stretch. We went and saw the Texas Rangers and an Arizona Diamondbacks World Series. Now, nobody in a million years thought the Diamondbacks were going to go all the way to the World Series.
Yeah.
And what happened? They did it, and they played super well. That's all you have to do. Once you get into the dance, anything can happen.
No, and that's baseball is that way, where they knocked off the Dodgers to go to the World Series against the Rangers that nobody thought was going to make it. In that sport, you have, and I don't know this about necessarily the NFL, but like baseball, how many teams recently have won the World Series as the wild card, right? Like, that's the kind of parity that you can have going on. So I think it's hard because you you want to think about the future and you want to always be ready for that, but it's just like, nah, man, it's time to go. It's time to get there. And I'm getting the feel they're going to do something. Now, going back to Zach Meisler's article on The Athletic, Ryan, what would you rather have them do? Would you rather have them take one big swing and get one big player here, or make 2 or 3 impactful kind of middle of the road type moves? Quantity versus quality.
I would be okay with the quantity over the quality, especially if that's spread around maybe 2 pitchers, maybe one starting, one bullpen arm, and a hitter. You know, you're not, and I don't even need a Bo Bichette, right? Who's one of the probably top hitters right now that are going to be likely to sell there with the Blue Jays. I don't need something fancy. I just need us. We don't. That's the great part about this Guardians team right now, is we don't need anything crazy. We have multiple holes that are very patchable. And the formula is right there for Matt. I want to ask you this.
Yes.
Do you think that Antonetti and Chernoff, they're operating this deadline a little bit differently because you have Stephen Vogt in his first year, if instead it was a healthy Terry Francona still?
Well, my pushback would be, you actually need to do it more because it's Stephen Vogt. Like, you got to help him out even more. And granted, he's done a great job, and we've talked about this stretch that they're coming on right now about navigating this, and so far you're doing all right. You might feel you need to make more of a move. Like, I guess the whole point would be, if Terry was here, you lean more into Terry. And say, we're not going to make a move.
Oh, okay.
Because we trust you to get the most out of these guys. Stephen Vogt, you're saying, hey, let's go get this guy some help.
Let's go that, but
make a trade to help him out even more.
Of the mindset of, listen, we go get these guys these pieces, but is he truly ready to lead this team to the World Series more so than a guy with Terry Francona
and then you're
who has
also
an abundance of playoff
right, and you're also talking about a change in the locker room, you're changing the clubhouse, you're changing lineup, things like that. Like, how that all gets handled is a big part of what's going on. Speaking of what's going on, we're here. 44th Annual National Sports Collectors Convention right here at the IX Center. Today's only day 2. They're here tomorrow, they're here Saturday, and I think it wraps up Sunday, right? Yeah, we're here next 3 days. It's still going to be going on. You can just, I want to make this clear to everybody too. You can just pull up and walk up to the booth and get your tickets to come on in. Like, you can check it out, nsccshow.com. That is nsccshow.com. Or just Google sports. Like, I literally Googled sports convention, and this is the first thing that popped up. You can get your tickets, check it out there. But if you just want to pull up, you can. Folks, the sea of people. Everybody is in. The doors are open right now. You know, we're going to talk coming up with Kyle from the convention here, just about some of the things going on. Over 600 exhibitors are here. Millions of dollars worth of merchandise and memorabilia are here. Cards, bats, racing helmets, gloves, like anything that you could ever think of. Bro, there's jerseys over there as far as the eye can see. And it's not just signed jerseys. You want to come and pick up a jersey on clearance? Well, they're right over there. So come on down.
Matt, what do you think the capacity for this entire IX Center would be?
That's a great question. I'm going to Google that right now. Because I would also imagine that it depends on capacity.
I mean, it's got to be
the flexible space includes 16,000. It's got to be more than that.
You also got a
carpeted ballroom.
The fire emergency.
Okay, this is crazy. There is 2.2 million square feet in the IX Center, including over 1 million square feet of exhibition space. I
believe it, man.
Where we're at.
Guys are playing hide and seek in here.
Well, but the thing is, when nothing's in here, it's just wide open, you know? But, yeah, the people are rolling in. There's going to be a lot this weekend, too. There are a lot of people even here today coming in. But people are getting their cards graded. They're bringing stuff in to hang it out, check it out. It's just really something that's cool to see. And the fact that it's in Cleveland is different because this rotates all around. This is the national convention. There are people from all over the country here today to take this in.
Man, I mean, we've been here for what now? Maybe an hour and a half. I think I might have seen almost every NFL team represented jersey-wise.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's so awesome to see.
You know, and there's just so many people bringing things in.
Yes.
Like, everybody's got a case with them of their stuff, and they're buying, they're selling, they're trading, going on. But, again, you can get your ticket, come in, and just walk around. and just see some of the memorabilia that they have going on here. So it's a lot of fun. We're going to be here today. Blake and Greg Williams are coming up right after us with Come Get Some as well. So really happy to be there. We're going to talk to Kyle coming up in hour 2 with everything going on. Ryan, I will leave it to you. Do you want to catch a break? Do you want to go right into the morning update? You tell me.
We can catch a break.
Let's catch a break. I'm old. My gout came back. My foot is – Ryan's looking at me. I'm like standing on one foot for this entire thing. So let the old man sit down over here for a second. Somebody get me a damn scooter.
I shall.
We'll sit down. We'll come on back. We'll get through the morning update. We'll run through a little bit of time up today as well. Plenty coming up here for hour 2. Again, we're live here at the 44th Annual National Sports Collectors Convention here at the IX Center. Get your tickets. Come on down. We'll see you when you get here. Back right after this. Back here, we are live at the 44th Annual Sports Collectors Convention here, IX Center. Ryan Tyler, Matt Fontana alongside. Appreciate everybody joining us. We'll get to the morning update. Ryan's got that in just a second. Want to remind everybody, come on down and see us. They're going to be here all weekend through Sunday. Blake and Greg Williams are going to be here with Come Get Some right after us. And it's so much fun. And I want to make this again clear to everybody. You can just come down and get a ticket. Parking, $10. Get in for your ticket. Bring the kids. I see so many kids here, Ryan, because it's fun. You don't have to buy a thing.
Nope.
You could just come in, see all this amazing memorabilia. I tell you this, man. If you're a sports fan in any right, I see hockey right there, basketball, baseball, racing, soccer. It's all here. And just to see this stuff, I think is pretty cool. So check it on out. Get your tickets or check out the interview list, or I'm sorry, the autograph list, I should say. Check it out. NSCCshow.com. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. So we're here today. Stop down. If you're here, just come on up and say hi. But if not, they'll be here all weekend. Ryan's got the stories you got to know here on a beautiful Thursday. Ryan, please take it away.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, the Guardians are winners of 2 in a row against the Detroit Tigers. They win a close one, 2-1. Tanner Bibee does exit early in the 5th, but it seems everything's okay. It was a lower extremity cramp. Josh Naylor gets the go-ahead, ultimately winning run. A single to center.
What did we say yesterday? Who was the guy that I was on yesterday? I said Josh Naylor had to turn it around. Here we go.
Now, that was a very poor 3-0 swing. It worked out for the guards. I'm sure Josh Naylor needed that.
I don't say seeing eye because
baseball, like many sports, is a game of inches.
Yeah.
Guardians get 2 in a row. They look to get 3 out of 4 today. First pitch, 110. Gavin Williams on the mound for the Guardians.
That's all I ask. And we'll do our wager later. Haven't had it yet. Guardians minus a 1.5. It's due to hit. Is today the day? Today's one of those uber focused days, though, for the Guardians. Because here's what I'm saying. They're a young team. They have a massive 3-game set with the Phillies starting. Do they look on the getaway day? Do you look past it a little bit? Or are they focused and said, we're going to close this thing out and we're going to beat the Tigers? We'll get to our wagers a little bit later. But, hey, man, that was a nice win for them. I give them credit for that. It's what they needed. Well done. And they'll get back after it this afternoon. Gavin Williams, too. Last start was pretty good one.
Yes.
Last start was pretty good. So what he can do to ramp up and what he can do to continue, because, like, Chernoff and Antonetti, as they watch this, they might feel like, we can just roll with the starting pitcher we're getting back, or, talking about Gavin Williams, he's back. Can we get Tristan McKenzie back? Can we get Logan Allen back? And I'm saying no. No. Still got to go get one. Yeah, still got to go get one. But Gavin Williams is a nice piece for right now. Get after it today. Who's starting for them? Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's a good question. Starting for them, 2 seconds, please.
We'll race to see who it is.
Nope, today's Thursday.
Tyler Holton.
You beat me by a second.
Tyler Holton. He's pretty good, man. He's pretty good. So let's get after it. Over under 7.5, kind of like the under again today.
We say that every time.
Every time. Get the under.
Well, the ESPN released the off-season grades for all 30 NBA teams. Matt, before I get into it, do you have a guess what they gave our Cleveland Cavaliers off-season grade?
Incomplete. They haven't done anything. There's only 3 teams in the NBA that has not made a free agent signing, and the Cavs are one of them. So literally, all they can grade it on is Donovan Mitchell, which is great, which Evan Mobley, which is great.
You could consider the inactivity into your grade, perhaps.
I guess. I'm gonna say B+. I think the Mobley re-signing was going to happen. You knew that. But to get Donovan Mitchell, I mean, that's borderline A. I think the thing that'll hold them back from getting an A is the fact that they've not signed any free agents. Plus drafting Jalen Tyson, which seems like it's a pretty solid pick for where it was at. I'm going to say B, with the only thing holding them back from an A is they couldn't sign any free agents.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, you would be correct. They gave them a B, the write-up. It's surprising that Cleveland's only roster addition so far, as we know, is the number 20 overall pick in this year's draft, Jalen Tyson. The Cavs are banking on new coach Kenny Atkinson to get out of the same group of talent. Understandable given how well they played in the 22-23 season.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. And you couldn't sign anybody. There's literally nothing you could do to sign anybody. You didn't have the cap space. So you're running it back with the core for it. Now, the interesting thing, and we haven't even really talked a lot of Cavs this week, but Ryan, it's now all of a sudden coming out that teams called. The Spurs called about Darius Garland, and the Cavs said, no, we're good. I am actually pretty blown away that it's been the Cavs' choice to say we're keeping this together. But also what came out this week. Apparently Donovan Mitchell was the one that said, no, I want to keep this core together. So if you're not getting the trades that you wanted, the easier thing to do is just to keep them together. And that is if truthfully what Donovan Mitchell wants, and then you add in that Darius Garland has basically rescinded his trade request, you're going to get all 4 of them back. I did not see it. I did not expect it at all with the Cavs. I really would have put bottom dollar on that.
Yeah.
I put a bottom dollar. We'll have Kyle, I think, coming up.
Yeah.
Whenever he's ready. Yeah, we'll take. Yeah. Tell Padel.
We'll get him on.
Hey, Nick.
Want to finish the morning update? Take a minute break. Come back.
We'll do that. That's all right. But again, when you factor all those things in, I didn't think it was going to be that way. I'm a little shocked that it is that way, but it is the right thing to do. I still think there's a chance they do something at the trade deadline too. You got to see how this plays out for the Cavs. Once you get Kenny Atkinson, the ultimate thing is, and this is the biggest thing about the Cavs, right? I want them to win. I don't care about this guy's emotion or how we feel about this guy or what this lineup is. You can win with a lot of different multiple lineups. I don't care. I just want to win. Whatever gets me there, that's fine. I'm not one of these, I'm going to be hung up on they didn't trade this guy because I wanted him traded, or you should have gotten rid of this guy instead of that guy. I don't care. I just want to win. So do that and we'll be just fine.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, the big news yesterday is that NBA on TNT is unfortunately coming to a close. I know that saddens many, many people, but the NBA, of course, signed its 11-year media deal rights with Disney, NBC, and who else but Amazon Prime Video. Matt, 1.8 Warner Bros. Discovery's $1.8 billion.
They're going to get sued.
They said, quote, "We have matched the Amazon offer as we have a contractual right to do. We do not believe the NBA can reject it. In doing so, they are rejecting the many fans who continue to show their unwavering support for our best-in-class coverage."
If it matched, why not? Answer? Amazon.
Yep.
Right?
Runs
Amazon.
the world.
Is Warner Brothers not in bankruptcy or something? I don't know, but I'm just saying that those are the decisions, and I'm sad. I'm very sad that it's going that way. I guess I'm just shocked that they could. Okay, here's a fantastic question. What is the max amount of media partners you think the NBA can sustain? Because right now, and I'll even say football, right? Because football seems maxed out. NBC/Peacock, but you have NBC, CBS, Fox,
now Netflix,
ESPN,
right?
Netflix, and Amazon Prime. That is 6 media different partners streaming games for the NFL. Basketball, ESPN, NBC, Amazon Prime, right?
I believe so, yeah.
After this season.
Yes.
Can't they handle one more? Am I crazy on that? Maybe I'm misreading this thing, man. Can't they handle one more?
If it makes too much sense, Matt, people don't do it.
But are there enough? And you would think there'd be enough games? I don't know. I mean, there's so much going on, and there was even news today about Bally's, about the Diamond Sports Group, because they were off of Comcast. It seems like they're getting a deal back going. I just want to be able to watch my sport. Am I sad that Inside the NBA is going away? Absolutely. Will I eventually get over it? Yes. Will you eventually get over it? Yes. But I just think it's weird how they matched, and not weird, we all know what it is, but the fact that they matched and the NBA was still yeah, don't even worry about it. We're good. We're going in this direction. They're going to get sued. They're going to get sued because Warner Brothers is going to say we had a contractual right to do this, and they're going to get their lawyers on this. The NBA is going to get their lawyers on it. I think that's really interesting. If they had a contractual right to match this and they did, then how the hell does that happen? I don't understand how that happens, but here we are.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, holdouts aplenty in San Francisco. No surprise about Brandon Ayuk. Or I guess I should say hold in his case.
They're there.
It is a holdout for Trent Williams, Matt. He is not happy after he gets stripped of the title, the highest paid offensive lineman. Minnesota Vikings Christian Darrisaw now has that record, $28.5 million. He's getting from the Vikings. Trent Williams still has 3 years left on his 6-year deal with the 49ers.
That's a tough thing at 30, almost 35. How old's Trent Williams?
Got to be up there, man.
He's 36. He's 36, and he has 3 years left on his deal, and he wants a different deal?
He wants more money.
Good luck, man. Money, please. Oh, you don't watch Parks and Rec, do you?
No.
John Ralphio's sister always just go up to her dad and goes, money, please, and she'd hand him a bunch of cash. You ain't getting it. You ain't getting it. And if I'm John Lynch, I'm saying that to Trent Williams, you are out of your mind.
Yeah.
No. And if it comes to the point of trading him or having to move on, fine. I think that's the biggest thing about Kyle Shanahan. I will fully admit that I put too much on Kyle Shanahan anyway, but I would just go, bro, you're going to have to figure this out. Sorry, you're going to have to lose your left tackle. You've got Brock Purdy. You've got Ayuk. You've got Christian McCaffrey. Debo's still there. Kittle. We're going to have to move on from Trent Williams. Figure it out. Figure it out. Like, I would sit down and go, you are 36 years old. You are still, by the way, wouldn't you look at him and go, be thankful you still have contract years at 37 and 38 years old.
No kidding, man.
Shut up.
No kidding,
And trust, I have no skin in this game. I have no skin in this game. I'm not for or against Trent Williams. I'm not for or against the 49ers. But that's how I'd handle things.
Hey, first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, I'm sure he is. 100%. Bro, no. 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 And if you don't want to go through training camp, fine.
What if they keep paying Brock Purdy pennies?
Well, eventually they have to sign him to a deal, too.
Will they? That's the question.
How could you not?
I don't know.
Right?
I mean.
But same thing. And that seriously, with every fiber of my being, I start with, if Trent Williams was, I'd be like, no, absolutely not. I don't know what to tell you, man, but we're done. All right, we're going to take a break. Well, Kyle's going to come up from the National Sports Convention here, Collectors Convention here at the IX Center. Got a ton to get to with him. I got to ask him, right, what's the most valuable piece in here right now? Is it the Honus Wagner cars? Is it something else? We'll talk about some of the exhibitors. We'll talk about the options for you, the fans. He'll join us next. Stay with us. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. All right, back here, Fontana Show on Big Play. Drop us a follow. We're on Twitter, X, also on Instagram, Twitch, and the YouTube channel is at Matt Fontana Show as well. We are here, the 44th National Sports Collectors Convention here at the IX Center. No better person to talk to than Kyle Kravitz. He's going to join us this morning. Kyle, really appreciate it, man. So tell everybody, you were telling me about this. You have your own content company. You basically eat, sleep, and breathe this. You say every other weekend you're out at a convention. This is your thing, man. This is what you do.
Yeah, I mean, this is our Super Bowl. To put it into lamest terms for everybody here, I think that's what everybody can latch onto. This is our big one that we wait for every single year, and the National is circled on the calendar. You're prepping as soon as we walk out the door Sunday night. Mm-hmm. It's the start on the next one, and kind of in terms of looking at a calendar, we don't have January 1st. Mm-hmm. We have the National. That's where our year starts and ends. So it really is just that kind of event, and it's overwhelming. So my page, it's King of the Cards is a content page, and basically like utilizing that to connect with all these people in this space. And just seeing that grow through the way that this space has grown tells me everything I need to know in terms of the traction that it's gained and the show out that's about to happen here. Last year was a record-breaking year, so I'm expecting this to top that.
And you were telling me Chicago is normally the home, but they branch out from time to time. So, like, this is huge that it's here in Cleveland. Like, and I'm a lifelong Clevelander, and I was like, oh, man, this card show's coming. But talking to you, talking to Christy, talking to everybody, like you said, if there's card collectors, memorabilia people, this is the big, everybody is here. Everybody just came into Cleveland, Ohio for this weekend, for this event.
That's right.
It's the biggest one. I got to tell you, I didn't understand the gravity until I got here, how big this is.
It's something that you don't understand until you see it and experience it. I tell anybody, even if you're not a collector, even if you're a sports fan, want to be a collector, collect it at some point, if this comes to your city, you're crazy not to come. And you got people traveling from the world and, different ends of the world just to get here.
Yeah. And then talk about the people that came in, because I said the same thing earlier. Even if you're not, we all have our cards, and I still have my box, and you could bring them in, stuff like that. But just to walk through, to see some of the stuff, the bats, the jerseys, the memorabilia, the autographs that we talked about with the impressive list there. If you're a sports fan, you're going to have fun, and it's a day. It really is. There's enough stuff to be here for a couple hours, have some fun, and tickets you can just get right at the door and come on in.
Right. I like to tell people that if you can't find it here, you probably can't find it anywhere.
That's a great point, yeah.
It is just the culmination of everything we do as sports fans, as collectors, and everything in between. You come here. If you couldn't find it here, I don't know where you'd find it. And it's just something that people go so far out of their way. They put aside a week of their lives and even the preparation on top of it, hours before and after, to make this week everything that it is. It's special. It has a special place in my heart. I circled back to it after growing up. Like you said, I had my box. I had my baseball cards. I had my collection. Got to college. I got more excited about, having a good time in college, and what was still there at the back end when I wanted to figure out what to do with my life, this passion that I had for this. It was still there. What did I do? I went to a national. As soon as I went back to the national, it all started again. Here I am, a few years later, and it's what I do every day, and here we are again.
And I think to see it grow, Kyle Kravitz joined us talking about the National Sports Collectors Convention here. I think that's where the internet, where it's more accessible for people now to want to get back into it. Where I don't want to say, your thoughts on this were like, when we were kids, it was always a thing, and you heard about dads that were kind of into it, but to see this spike and to see this massive amount of either re-interest or new interest in it, I'd imagine it's a little internet-based where people can get online and they can sell their cards or they can have an interest there. But it's things like this to be able to come out to that are also driving a peaked interest in sports memorabilia and cards.
Right. It's something like we've never seen before in the space, but the space has never gone away. It fluctuates like anything else. But it got to a point where you go all the way back to the 1800s and, then into an era of tobacco cards and these things being utilized to sell. And then you get into a point of nostalgia into the, 50s cards are going in tire spokes. And then you get up to the 80s and 90s and you have a junk wax era where everybody wanted cards and they didn't know if they did anymore because there were so many. It's just continued to evolve and adapt, but it's compounded. And now you're talking about over a century long of the greatest hobby in the world building on itself. That's what happened. You reach a spike during the times of COVID. A lot of people credit that. But that was just a thing that was long overdue. A time where everybody put their eyes on this and started to appreciate it. It settled back down a bit. And now you're just seeing this steady climb, a healthy, steady growth. And year over year, I'm telling you, as someone who was at the National last year, I can't imagine what this one's going to look like the rest of the weekend.
Dude, I want to talk cards. This is the favorite part. I want to do it. Do it. All right, so here at this, I saw the sign for the Honus Wagner. And they're showing it. I don't think it's for sale here. Is that the most valuable piece, do you think, that is here?
That is here, potentially.
Yeah.
I know the numbers they were throwing around, that
millions,
the presumption of landing. Yeah. But I also know that Babe Ruth's game-worn jersey from when he called his shot at Wrigley Field is in the building here.
Really?
Yep. So I know that's going up for auction. They just did a whole news presser at Wrigley Field with it, and I believe that's in the building somewhere here too. So I haven't gotten to go see that yet. But they put it back at home plate in Wrigley Field, and the last time that jersey was at home plate in Wrigley Field was when it was on Babe Ruth's back. So that one's pretty special too. Yeah. On the card side, I think the Honus is, there's no way something in here is beating that right now, unless one of the 52 Tops Mantle 10s is in the building. For those that don't know, it's basically our holy grail in the space. It's one of Mantle's biggest cards. Some would argue his rookie card, but it is one of the hardest to find in perfect condition. If that's in the building, that's the only thing I could see rivaling it off the top of my head. Don't know if it is, but the Honus is a grail in itself. So.
Baseball still the king. I mean, obviously, I think now with the excitement around the NFL, we're just being the novice. Like, I see people that post cards and they're like, okay, here's the Christian McCaffrey, but it's got a piece of the jersey on it, or here's your autograph, Justin Herbert thing.
Right.
But would you say baseball is still the most traded right now, or would you say football's on the rise?
I think people still, without thinking, just go baseball cards without thinking about the other sports, even if it's a football card. So in that regard, there are some major sales. I think that's where people prospect more than anything. It's such a popular thing to try to, kind of get the guy's card before he becomes who you're hoping he becomes.
Yeah.
So in that aspect of things, some baseball cards just have the record sales, the dominant sales, but we've seen such a growth, especially international market with basketball cards. Having such a hold on, with the big faces when you're talking about your Jordans and LeBrons and Kobe's, and you get into those lists of legends, those hold such a weight. And then football-wise, just the popularity, the same aspect of, the gambling and degeneracy side of things, people betting on their favorite players and the best cards in the space on the football side. So that's definitely become a thing of its own as well. So it's tough to answer in different regards.
Sure.
Every sport is holding its weight in the space. And, I think as it continues to evolve, it's just going to reflect the American people. So, football continues to grow in that space.
Then you get your favorite players, you get your favorite teams that people want to kind of dive into. Of the current players, is it a lot of Mahomes, McCaffrey, try to think of maybe even like obviously Shohei Ohtani's, I imagine, pretty big. Are there any other names, or maybe even some surprising ones that you've seen a lot of interest with players that are currently playing right now?
I think it really reflects fanhood. I'm a collector first. That's how I started in business in the space. So that's where it starts. So you start with who are your favorite players, and everybody might have different answers for that. So that's your first section. Then if you're talking about like just to round out a collection or appreciating the sport, it's always going to be those names. It's going to reflect exactly the highlight reels that you see on ESPN and the big names and the stat sheets and the accolades. All those things are reflected on the collecting side. So you're going to see that, in terms of your Ohtani's. I don't know, Mahomes, any of the big names. I don't know if there's a surprising one because I think it's all kind of crowd facing. Anybody that's collected is either a fan favorite or a legend, and that's kind of how that goes. And some people have favorite players that nobody could care less to collect, and that's just who they have connected with, and that's their lane. And they're
going to pay more for a card that somebody else might be like, why are you buying that card? And you're like, this guy's my favorite guy. I had to have that one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. To talk about somebody that wanted to get into it. So obviously I would say coming in here as a novice, this might be a little overwhelming where you see, oh my God, these cards are thousands of dollars.
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, right. And you're right. This is your life. This is what you do. So if somebody was out there and they're saying, you know what, my son or daughter wants to get into this and I want to help them out, what would be some advice? Are there certain, I know there's a lot of different companies of cards you can buy, or you can get online, you can bid on packs. Like, let's say this, Kyle. So like when my son was born, my dad did this for me, which I thought was so cool. He bought me the Topps baseball set for the year that I was born. And I just think that's cool to have. I'm not going to retire on that in any stretch of the imagination. So when my son was born, I bought him the Panini box of football. It's still in the wrapper. I threw it in there, and that could be worth $3 when I give it to him one day. But it's something cool to hang on to. That's all I know. But even for that one, I had to get into a like an auction type thing. Like they only handed out X number. I know eBay is very big where people check it out. Like if somebody said, I want to kind of novice my way into getting into the sports card collection, just either advice or things to look out for as you start your journey on that.
In terms of just enjoying it, I tell people the first thing to do, put yourself in an environment like this. I know the Nationals only once a year, but if you can and are able to, it's a hell of a way to start.
Yeah.
Outside of that, find your local card shows.
Yeah.
Find your local card shops. And my advice would actually be just don't buy anything at first.
Sure.
Don't go in there and spend money and think you know something. Just soak it in and take the time to learn. And you're going to make better decisions on what you want to collect, what you actually attach to. Because I feel a lot of people just jump right in, and then they're circling back 6 months to a year later. I didn't really want these in my collection. I didn't want to have this. I didn't know at the time. Be patient. I think that pays off a lot. But put yourself in the environments to learn. Soak it all in. Enjoy it. That's what this is supposed to be. At the bottom of all of it, it's a kid's game to have fun with it.
Yeah.
So just enjoy it. And then, from there, kind of learn what you like. Learn what the opportunities are out there and what you can have, and then slowly, get your feet wet and start collecting.
This is Kyle Kravitz joining us. Check everything out here. We're at the National Sports Collectors Convention, nsccshow.com. Kyle, plug your business again one more time, please.
Yep, so it's King of the Cards with a K. Yep, K in cards. And you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all over the place, and hopefully continuing to grow there. So, yeah, just going to keep putting the space on the map.
I love it. Somebody like me, let's say I grab my box, go up to my parents' base, or go up to my parents' attic, I pull my box out. Actually, you know what? It's at my house now that I think about it. And I all of a sudden, and I'm scrolling through some of my cards. How can I find a value on that? Like, I know there's authentication here as well. There's that grading that usually you have to pay for. But let's say somebody was just scrolling through a box. Any advice just to kind of find a value or what might actually be worth something?
So that has to be the most common question that I get.
Yeah.
And in terms of appraising items, there's a lot of different websites. You got to do your research, but there's multiple websites and applications now with the space being so big, designed around being able to type in, research a card, scan a card, and be able to derive some kind of value. I would tell people with that, take it with a grain of salt, be careful because, people look at listings a lot of the times and they associate a value, but that's just what you're able to buy it for. I could create a listing at any price on any card, so that doesn't mean anything. I would say to go do your research through different websites, different applications, and, take a look around, and you'll be able to kind of gauge a market on most cards. Some cards are more rare than others, but your classics, you go on eBay and check that out, check what some of the listings and sold listings more importantly are, and it'll help you kind of gauge where the market range of a value would be. But it takes some time and research, but use those tools at your disposal.
When they grade, what's the one thing they look at the most? I always hear about edging, I hear about sometimes the color, but like when you talk about things that go get graded, what are usually some of the highest marks there? So
usually it's broken down by, you got the centering of the card, you got the edges, the corners, and the surface. So those are the considered subgrades. It depends what company you use. There's a couple major companies that do grading. Again, do your research on who these companies are and what makes them more valuable than the others. But you're looking at all aspects of the condition of the card. And understanding that takes some time. It is not a perfect science. It's different for every single
I'd imagine it's different graders, right? You might lay a card in front of one person and they give it a grade, and another person might say a little bit different, right?
Yes, there's a lot of subjectivity, and looking at one card compared to another, from one set of eyes to another, things get missed. So, there's a lot of development that needs to come in that area in terms of maybe more technology behind it and consistency. Those are things that the space continues to learn and work on. Yeah. But this is the system that's come about to kind of value cards. And when you look at a card from the 1950s, it's a heck of a lot different from something you're seeing get pulled from a 2023 football pack. So the aspects of the card are different, the way they're graded. These companies have their systems, find who you like and try to trust that best you can. But same as I said with going into collecting, take your time. Do your research first before jumping in, and when you feel comfortable, take some baby steps, and you'll learn the lay of the land very quickly.
Yeah, I love it. And I love seeing a lot of kids here too. Like I think that's as you get started, it just goes back to just such a time when you mentioned when we were kids. That's what you did. Like I remember when I was in elementary school, one day after school we had the sports card club, and we would all go in there. And back then you don't know what you're trading, but you're like, oh, I just want this guy here. I'll give you this for that.
I wish.
You keep the box, right? And now it's on just a different level. But like you said earlier, it's so right. This is still a kid's game, and it still makes you feel like a kid when you're out here trading stuff.
Yeah, I stopped my growth spurt right at like that mark where it would have gotten interesting. Maybe I could have been a little more athletic, and I wasn't. So the pros that we look up to in so many ways, and this is centered around the sports that we connect to, the teams and players we connect to so much. That opportunity stopped, and we like to say that they play a kid's game. So we had to make our own for the ones that didn't quite make it on the field, right? So that's how we stay connected, but it's a really special thing.
I love it, and obviously as I just look out here, it can be some big business too. Obviously you're in it doing as well, and that's something where start slow. I know it can be overwhelming for people out there, but there's a lot of options. King Cards, TikTok, Instagram, you said you're all across there. Kyle Kravitz, really appreciate your time, man. Awesome insight. Really great stuff. Check it out, nsccshow.com. Back right after this, wrap things up. We'll tell you to get back in here, starting to fill up, and we got to get our Guardians wager in for tonight. Stay with us. All right, we're back here at the National Sports Collectors Convention here at the IX Center. Great stuff, Kyle Kravitz. If you just wanted to get info on how to get involved in sports cards, memorabilia, go back, watch that interview. He was fantastic. Or like you said, come on down. And it's a little overwhelming right to see all these people here, but he said, just come on down, poke around. You'll see where it's at. I think we're talking to James coming up as well. That auction of the Babe Ruth jersey when he calls his shot.
That's incredible.
That's insane.
That's incredible.
That is insane. And like he said, I saw it driving in when I saw at least 7 different states and license plates. He goes, there's international people here. Like, this is it. Like, and I think it comes back to such a base level of like you and I trading cards. Like, this is, as he said, their Super Bowl. This is the biggest event. This is the biggest card trading event in the world. It's here in Cleveland, in the backyard. Not going to be here for the next couple of years, so you better get down here this weekend and check it out.
I mean, that was so cool, him talking about, you go back, I mean, the 1800s tobacco card, right? I mean,
do you know why the Honus Wagner card? I should ask Kyle this. But the reason the Honus Wagner card is so valued, when he found out they were putting in the tobacco, he said he didn't want to do that anymore.
Told me this, yes.
So then they didn't make as many.
Yes, you did.
And he's a Hall of Famer, and he's a really good player, but they only did a small batch run, and then he said, I don't want to be in the tobacco packs anymore because you're trying to sell it to kids, and that's why that card became so valuable.
I didn't get a chance to ask. I was wondering, you know, in the card collecting, is there almost a sense of investing, right? Investing in certain players like young in their careers, like a stock almost, exactly. Like there's a rookie coming out, let's say, just from Marvin Harrison, right? You think he's going to have a career like his father, Hall of Famer. Do you invest? You get it's like stocks almost.
Absolutely, and I think that's the cool thing that Kyle was talking about is you understand the values of things. Like I said, I have a box of my old ones. I bought a box for my son. I don't know what those are, right? There could be something great in there. I think the interesting thing, and we could have spent, I could have talked to Kyle for 3 hours.
He was great.
He was great. And I think it's interesting about the difference, right? Like, not every Justin Herbert card is the same. Not every Patrick Mahomes. So, like, I think it's interesting when I see cards that even pop up on social media where they're like, oh, this is a 1 of 20 Patrick Mahomes card, or this one is so specific because, you know, I know there's Topps and there's Fleer and there's so many different ones that make it like what makes this card so special, and then where you get it graded. Like we talked about that. And I just think the other thing that I think is so interesting here, you know, you talk about the vastness. Bro, I don't think I've seen more than a handful of people that don't have a bag with them because they got their own stuff. So it's like not only the cards that are here, but you have people bringing in suitcases worth of them to either trade, to sell, to put them over there to get authenticated. Like, if you want to get in this seems to be the place to really get started.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Kyle, too. I'm sure he would have known so much more than I do about it, of course, but just like everything in today's day and age, everything's going digital, right?
Yeah.
You have NBA Top Shot, which got a lot of traction. That got super popular. They tried to do it for the NFL. It wasn't quite as fluid. I guess it didn't work out right. But, I mean, I remember going on NBA Top Shot, right? Just like a card, you're getting almost a GIF of a player. And, I mean, these GIFs, like NFTs, we all know the age we live in, they're selling for thousands of dollars just like these cards. And it's so interesting just for me, obviously – I grew up in an era where it wasn't maybe as popular.
No, and I think the same
you
thing.
Were like,
you know,
right?
same
like
thing
we never
with
had
me.
anything like you mentioned, the card collecting club. But it's so interesting.
And that's the thing. You could go into, and I know you could do this now, but like you could go in and buy a pack for $1.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like you can go to stores and buy packs, but like, are you really going to rip that open and maybe find a card that's worth $5? And like, shout out to Mike. He tweeted us. He said he came yesterday and actually sold some of his pieces.
Okay.
You know, because he had some last night that were great. He goes, all right, so this was Mike. Because I asked everybody this morning for their most valuable card. Chris says he has a 1989 Deion Sanders rookie card. That's got to be worth something. So he said, Mike says, I sold the most valuable he had was a Larry Bird rookie. He had a Magic Johnson rookie and a Dr. J 1981 Topps tri-card. And he said his was worth about $900.
Who's got to be the most valuable card right now, current Browns players? Got to be Miles?
Yeah, I was
So I wonder how an award like Defensive Player of the Year impacts the value of his card.
Well, then also I think don't they put out like a DPOY special edition card?
Yeah.
Like that's where I think it gets so interesting to me.
Do you think, man? I mean, and maybe there are already these, and I'm not aware. Did they do college athletes? cards?
I think they probably can now, yeah.
Right, with NIL,
they probably
you got to
can
imagine
now.
that might be the next
Well,
step.
that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
like,
imagine you have guys nowadays with the media. Caleb Williams was already, before he got into the league, was popular than half the guys in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's insane to think about.
Absolutely, and I think that's the cards, but then still the jerseys, the merchandise, like all these other things that are going on is just, I think, really crazy. And but it's like, you know, we talked about having hobbies. This is truly a never-ending hobby. This seems like it would be a lifelong hobby. There's always new cards, there's always new players, all the different sports. And then when you can add in, you know, features like this, when you can add events like this, I just think it's cool, man.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine your
so
buddies
cool.
walk down to your basement, you just point, be like, "Oh yeah, that's the jersey Babe Ruth wore when he called a shot at."
Yeah,
Fenway."
I don't know if I quite have that money. So that is here, and it's going up for auction. And it's going to go for millions. It's going to go for millions, and you'll see it. And it's here. You can be a part of it. They also have the showings of the Honus Wagner. I keep wanting to say T109. I think that's the number or something on like that. But they're here. And it's really any sport. All the sports are going on. The autographs are starting. I'm starting to see the lines form over there for the autographs and the ticketing for that. So the biggest thing I can tell you, and I'm going to keep saying it while we're here, go check out nsccshow.com. That is nsccshow.com. National Sports Collector Convention. That's what it stands for, show.com. All the autograph tickets are on there. Your tickets to get in are there. But you can also just show up. $10 to park, $30 gets you in the door. Bring the kids. It's going to be a lot of fun. All the things are going on. And I just, like, dude, I go to Comic-Con, right? Like, that's...
Yeah. Oh, I would love to go to that.
Comic-Con's a lot of fun.
I would love to go to that.
And, dude, it's so small compared to what's going on right here.
Is Comic-Con the same place every year? So Comic-Con travels. So, like, honestly... There's big news about DC this week. The San Diego Comic-Con is going on this week, and supposedly there's going to be a reveal. So the big New York is big, LA is okay, San Diego is very big, but there's a Cleveland Comic-Con. It's not very big. It's like, dude, not at all as big as this, and they do it at the convention center You would
downtown.
know this. Is there just a Batman one specific?
I'm sure there is. I should probably find that out and go. But, like, Comic-Con's the same thing. Like, I go to check out exhibits, check out artwork, like, check out some comics, you know. And the same thing, if you're a card fan, they have everything going on here. But it's even just the memorability. Like, I keep looking over there. I'm going to walk by that when we leave. They have a whole bunch of racing helmets over there. Like, I'm assuming it's Formula One because I see Red Bull stuff.
I mean, they got Ronaldo jerseys. They got Pele jerseys.
Yeah. I mean, it's all here, man. And I get this is big business, but like Kyle was saying to us, you can start small and kind of work your way up, which is going to be a lot of fun. All right, you want to win everybody a little bit of credits today so they can come out here and spend it? All right, let's go. Guardians, Tigers, 1 o'clock today. What do we got? It is split as the computer-generated so I'm like Odd Shark, which I always check.
Yeah.
They project this game to be 4.5 to 4.5. That's how it's going to go. Guardians are a minus 180 money line favorite in this one. Minus a run and a half is plus 126. So the Guardians are pretty big favorites in this one. With the total, I've got it some places at 8, others at 7.5. The last 10 games, the Tigers are down to 5.5 runs per game. The Guardians scuffling, right? They're only averaging 3.7 runs per game over their last 10 games. Your starters for this one, Gavin Williams, up and going.
Looking for his first win on the year.
Looking for his first win. And for some reason, they don't have Tyler Holton ready to go. He's a reliever, by the way. So today's another bullpen day for the Guards. Over has hit Detroit's 5 out of their last 6 games. They're 11-5 straight up in their last 16. The over has hit 4 out of their last 5 games on the road and 4 out of their last 5 here at Progressive Field. Here's one. Detroit, 8-4 straight up in their last 12 games when they play as a dog.
Okay.
And this one's just for you. They are 8-3 straight up in their last 11 games on a Thursday when playing on the road.
All right, well, how about this, Matt? I got some numbers for you. Career versus Holton. Jose Ramirez, 2 for 5. Jimenez, 2 for 6. Naylor, 1 for 5. Kwan, 1 for 4.
Okay. Guardians real quick. Over the last 5 out of 6 against Detroit. 7 out of their last 9 games, the under has hit, though. They are 12-5 in their last 17 at home. Do you want to do a parlay again?
Let's do it.
We've been so close.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do this.
Guards can still win 3 out of 4 like you asked.
I'm rolling with them minus a run and a half. Okay.
I like that. I like that.
Yep. Hang on. Let me get off this. Sorry. I'm on the Wi-Fi, and it tried to tell me that I was not in the right location. I'm like, I'm in the state of Ohio. I'm allowed to do this. Okay. Guards, 135. Let me start there. What do you like for hits today?
I mean, the old well, Jose. Got to.
Jose?
Got to.
All right. Do you want to go strikeouts Gavin Williams? 4?
That's an alt, I assume?
Yes, alt.
Yeah, I like so 4.5 or 3.5.
Yeah, I can just get it at 4.
Okay. Oh,
I can just get it at 4.
4+.
Like 4+.
Yes.
4 or more.
I like that very much.
For Gavin Williams.
I like that very much.
All right, dude, I'm up over 500 already on this.
There you go.
So I'm going to take that. So we got Jose hit, Gavin Williams over 4 or more strikeouts, Guardies minus a run and a half. And if I had to pick, I think I would take the under again.
Okay.
But I'm not going to add that to our parlay for today.
Sounds like
so
money
that's
to me.
it. We'll do this. Send out the winners from our bracket a little bit later. Ryan's going to be busy here at the card show. So send out the winners of the bracket for the best heist movie, and we'll announce our winners tomorrow.
What won yesterday?
You can check it.
It looks like Reservoir Dogs is going to win.
Oh, beat the town.
And Die Hard moved on.
All right, a little upset there. So Ryan will send that out at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're up on Twitch, everywhere that you need us as well. YouTube for this side of things as well. We're not done here. Big play. Blake and Greg Williams are here. Come Get Some is coming up. They're going to talk to James from the card show about that Babe Ruth auction item that's going up. The jersey he wore when he hit the shot.
That's unbelievable.
When he called his shot and hit it. That's coming up. So he's going to talk to James. They'll be here for the next hour or so. But, folks, the next 3 days, it's all going to be here. Check it out at the National Sports Collectors Convention.
There you go.
NSCCshow.com. That is NSCCshow.com. Get your tickets for the autographs. Get your tickets just to come in and see everything. I'm sure Greg is already signing autographs over there as former Browns head coach. People love him. So he'll be up here next with Blake. They're going to have a lot of fun. Want to thank everybody from the show for having us out and being able to spread the word here a little bit. Appreciate Kyle, Christy, Alex, everybody for having us out here at Big Play. Be back in studio tomorrow. Enjoy the hell out of your night, your day. Go get them Guardians, 1 o'clock. Get those bets in. We'll talk to you then. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt